where survival looks different and so does training. The Tuareg, the Amazigh, and the many desert tribes of North Africa carved their strength from heat, hardship, and horizon. Here, endurance isn't a skill, it is identity. Walking or riding for days with minimal water built a form of resilience unmatched in the modern world. Studies of desert nomads reveal astonishing physiological adaptations, efficient thermoregulation, powerful slow-twitch fibers, and the ability to maintain stamina under extreme temperatures. Imagine carrying everything you own across a desert. Imagine navigating dunes the size of mountains while wrapped in layers of cloth, protecting your body from sun that burns hotter than fire. Every step becomes training. Every day becomes a test. North African endurance is not the explosive strength of East Africa or the rhythmic conditioning of the West. It is the quiet, unbreakable strength that comes from surviving a world that gives you nothing for free. Head south toward the savannas, and you encounter yet another style of training, one built around combat and community. Among the Zulu, Xhosa, and other southern groups, traditional stick-fighting shaped generations of warriors. The training involved footwork, rapid shifts of direction, core tension, shoulder endurance, and mental sharpness. A true warrior could strike, dodge, block, and retreat all in a fraction of a second. It was cardio, strength, reaction time, and emotional control woven together. But what made traditional African combat training so exceptional wasn't just the speed or the power, it was the rhythm. Movements were always connected to breathing patterns, chants, or drum beats that helped fighters stay calm even as the body pushed near its limits. Modern sports science now proves what African warriors knew long ago. Rhythm reduces performance anxiety, improves coordination, and extends physical endurance. Now shift further south and east into Namibia, Botswana, and parts of Angola, where ancient hunter-gatherer tribes like the San practiced a completely different kind of training, one born from persistence hunting. Imagine chasing an antelope under the blazing sun for hours, not to sprint it down, but to slowly exhaust it. This was a test not of speed, but of sheer, unyielding spirit. The San could track an animal just by reading faint footprints, broken blades of grass, or shifts in the wind. They used a combination of jogging, fast walking, and bursts of sprinting to wear their prey down. Anthropologists studying these hunters discovered aerobic capacities that rival endurance athletes. But none of it came from planned training. It came from a lifestyle where movement was constant, purposeful, and meaningful. Each step was tied to survival. Every mile carried the weight of tradition. Across all these landscapes, plains, forests, deserts, savannas, there is one thread that unites Africa's tribal training systems: the belief that the body becomes strong not through isolation, but through connection. Connection to the earth beneath your feet, connection to your community, connection to rhythm and story, connection to purpose. And this reveals another truth. The more meaningful your movement, the stronger your body becomes. In the modern world, we often move without meaning. We work out to burn calories, to look a certain way, or to relieve stress. But in traditional Africa, movement was life. Endurance was love. Strength was responsibility. Agility was celebration. Jumping wasn't exercise, it was identity. Dancing wasn't cardio, it was cultural memory stored in muscle and bone. As we look deeper into the science of these traditions, the wisdom becomes even more profound. Researchers studying barefoot running communities in East Africa discovered that natural foot strike patterns developed over generations protect the knees and reduce injury. Studies on drumming communities in West Africa reveal that rhythmic movement enhances brain plasticity and emotional regulation. Investigations into desert nomads show how slow, steady endurance builds a heart that pumps more efficiently and muscles that can thrive under heat and stress. What Western science calls training principles, progressive overload, mobility work, plyometrics, endurance conditioning, are built into African traditions, but through intuition rather than theory. Tribal workouts evolved not in gyms, but in open air, not in isolation, but in community, not through repetition for repetition's sake, but through movement that mattered. And perhaps the most striking element across the continent is how joy and discipline coexist. In African dance-based conditioning, laughter and exhaustion often happen at the same time. In desert endurance, silence and suffering blend into peace. In stick fighting, fear disappears into focus. In persistence hunting, fatigue becomes meditation. This ability to suffer while smiling, to endure while singing, to push while staying centered is a uniquely powerful form of psychological resilience. Move north again, toward Ethiopia and Eritrea, and the story continues. In the highlands, communities lived at altitudes where oxygen thins, yet life goes on without complaint. Children walk miles to school through steep mountain paths. Women carry loads balanced gracefully on their backs. Men guide livestock through rocky terrain. These everyday movements create bodies designed for climbing, squatting, balancing, and stabilizing.